Your professional resume is probably costing you the job, and let me explain why. Hey everybody, it's Brian from Life After Layoff, and today I want to talk to you about professionally written resumes and why you might not want to use them. And that's right, you've heard me correctly. I'm suggesting that you probably don't want to use a professional resume, and I'm going to explain why in this video. As a corporate recruiter and an HR professional, I have seen my fair share of resumes, and I'm talking in the tens of thousands easily, if not hundreds of thousands at this point in my career. And I'll tell you, a vast majority of them are not well optimized, and many of them are downright poor. They're just not helping people get the job. And as a career coach, I talk to a lot of people who struggle in their job search, and usually they come to me after they've gone through a particularly difficult stretch where they're getting rejected constantly and they're just not having much success. And inevitably, as we're diagnosing their problem, we get to the resume and review it, and there's usually a lot of wholesale changes that need to be made. And a lot of times this is really surprising to people because they'll say, but I got a professional resume written. I just don't understand it. They did all this nice stuff and they seemed like they knew what they were doing. And I'll sit there and read through it and go, oh, you hired a professional resume writer, did you? And let's just say some of the professional resumes that I have seen are shocking, to say the least. And just because you've hired a professional resume writing service does not mean that the results are necessarily going to be there. And in fact, I might actually suggest that your resume results might even be worse with a professional resume writer than had you tried to do it on your own. And of course, I'm going to break down why this is in this video. But before we get too far into it, if you're interested in having career tips, specifically how to act like a CEO delivered to your inbox each and every week, make sure you sign up for my free newsletter. Each week, I share actionable tips that you can apply to your job search and your career. I'm also going to give you my insight on what I think is going on in the labor market, and there'll also be exclusive offers just for newsletter subscribers only. So if you want some of those discounts, wink, wink, head over to my website and sign up for my free newsletter today. So why am I so anti-professional resume writing? Because you might say, don't you offer resume writing on your website? And the truth is I actually do offer resume writing services. So I'm including myself in this as well. But there's several reasons why a professional resume may actually be hurting your chances. So when you reach out to me, or I'm imagining any other resume writer, you would send over your existing resume, and then you would send over maybe a job description or two that you're really interested in. So then what we would do is take that resume and try to match it to the job description as best we can. And what we do is create a new resume for you in a format that hopefully is ATS compliant, looks great, is attractive, easy to read, yada, yada. However, that resume is only valid for that particular role in that particular moment of time. It's not necessarily taking into account the audience, which is going to change from job to job, from company to company, from recruiter to recruiter, from hiring manager to hiring manager. So essentially what you're ending up with is a generic resume, and that's just the nature of it. No resume writer is going to be able to create a custom resume for you unless you've got super deep pockets and you want to hire somebody to write a custom resume for each and every job that you apply to. Realistically, that's not reasonable. So that's the first thing. It's simply by its nature not going to be written with a particular audience in mind. So in theory, what people think they should do with their resume is have one catch-all resume that reads really well, shows them as the best possible fit for all these different great jobs. They go off into a job search, they apply to this job, they apply to that job, they apply to this job. And it may work better than your standard resume that you had before, but you may notice that the results can vary, or it might actually slip over time, because basically what's happening is your generic resume is just not going to be a great fit for all of those jobs that you're applying to. And another common thing that I would see is that when I would sit down with my clients to go through their resume, I was shocked at the number of times I would see a professionally written resume that had all kinds of basic errors, or basic editing errors, specifically around the ATS. They would have things like charts and graphs and graphics and columns and all this stuff. And I would look at it in 5 seconds and say, you have to probably add in this data manually, this data manually. It's probably not pulling in this correctly. And then they would say, how do you know that? It's like, well, I work with ATS systems all day long, every day for a long period of time. So I'm really familiar with what ATS systems do, how they behave on the back end, how they parse resumes, how they show up on the hiring side, and what you can do to improve your chances of being discoverable, not just necessarily for the first job that you apply, the initial job that you apply to, but ideally in bigger companies, recruiters are going to go into the back end of the ATS system and they're going to search for candidates maybe a year or two later. And I would routinely do this when I was at Amazon recruiting, where we would go into the ATS system and I would source off of other people's recs. So candidates that went cold, and I would try to re-engage them. So if you don't have an ATS compliant resume, it's going to make your discoverability limited in that regard. Not to mention, when you apply for the job, we give you a 5-second glance. It's a really quick look over your resume, and we're looking for things very specifically. And when you have to think about the volume that a recruiter typically deals with, you might be working with 15 to up to 50 job requisitions. And a job requisition is an individual job. And you might have to produce 5 interviewable candidates for 50 different jobs within 35 days of that job opening. It's called a time to fill metric. And so a recruiter gets the role, they start scrambling, they try to find candidates as quickly as they can because they want to keep their metrics low because they're graded on it. That's how they either keep their job or they don't. That's how they get bonuses. That's how they get promoted. It's just the same as every other job. There are certain metrics that they're graded on. So they're going in and looking at high volumes of applications. And in some cases, there's thousands of applications that would come in for a single job. So if you're sitting on a rec load of say 20 to 30, and you're sitting on an average candidate pool of 200 applications for each rec, just do the math. And if you have to get through them in a certain period of time, a lot of times there's service level agreements. So you have a certain amount of time that you have to review the resume and then disposition it to either moving them to the yes pile or moving them to the no pile. Hopefully you're getting a standard rejection letter at the very minimum when you move to the no pile. I know that there's a lot of stuff going around about people getting ghosted and not hearing back. I mean, I've been subject to not hearing back for my applications before, so I totally get it. But nonetheless, having ATS and readability issues in your resume are very common, and I see them just as commonly in professionally written resumes. And it's always really shocking to me when I come across one like that. And I'll say, how do they not know the basics of resume writing in a format that an ATS and more specifically a recruiter, and probably even take it a step further, a hiring manager would like? And another very common thing that I'm seeing is they're using outdated techniques and formatting. For example, they're putting titles at the very top of the resume. Like, we don't need to see that. Your resume is full of titles. Why do you need to call it at the very top? Then the career summaries always have issues in them. They're super wordy. Then my favorite is when you have a functional resume that doesn't have chronological dates in it, and we have to be like a detective, like Sherlock Holmes, trying to figure out when you worked where and how long and all of this other stuff, so we can assess, do you have the right amount of skills and experiences that the hiring manager is demanding for this particular role. All that stuff does is ends up putting you into a no pile quicker because it's not easy to consume. And again, you have to think from a recruiter's perspective, what is it that we're likely assessing? How can you make sure that you have the right stuff in there in a format that's consumable and ATS compliant? And more importantly, we find it quickly. And I hate to say this because not all resume writers are bad. In fact, I've run into some very good ones. Recently, I've run into some really strong resumes that were written by a professional resume writer. However, in almost every case where I have seen a professional resume that was written by somebody that had a lot of challenges in it, or a lot of errors or issues or whatever you want to call it, in almost every case, it was written by somebody who was a professional writer or even a graphic designer. And it doesn't mean that a professional writer can't write a good resume, but the chances of them writing a resume that is going to be from a recruiter or a hiring manager's perspective is very slim because they just don't have that perspective. And let me give you a little analogy. When I was doing my taxes a long time ago, I used to go to, I think it was H&R Block or one of the big block retailers to get my taxes done. And I went in one time and I was sitting down to do my taxes, and the person who was assigned to me, as I just walked in off the street, this person sat down and they pulled up a TurboTax type of system. And I'm sitting there watching the system the whole time, and he's going through all of my forms and he's typing it into the boxes where it tells him, and there's actually little prompts that tell him where to type the different things. And I'm sitting there looking at this going, I could probably do that myself. I don't know why I'm paying you, I don't know, it was like $200 or $300 or something to do this. And then I was just chatting with the guy, and it turns out that he was moonlighting, and he had his day job, which was he was an assistant gym teacher for a local school. And I think he also coached like the girls softball team. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, so I'm trusting my tax returns to somebody that doesn't even have an accounting background. They teach gym, and this is certainly not a slight against a gym teacher, and I'm not saying that a gym teacher can't have competency in other places, but when I go in to seek a tax professional, I want to talk to somebody that's a tax professional, that's what they live and breathe, and that's what they do for a living. So at the end of it, I paid my fee, took my tax return with me, and then the very next year, I found a certified public accountant who specialized in taxes. And guess what? My results, in other words, the amount of tax return that I got every year went up by almost double. And yes, he was a little bit more expensive, but the amount of money I saved in the long run was tremendous. So the moral of the story here is if you're going to use a professional resume writer, at least try to target somebody that has a recruiting or human resources background, preferably somebody who has been directly involved with working with hiring managers on intake calls and debrief meetings. Those are the two important ones. And I would actually ask your resume writer what experience they have with both of them. Have they sat in intake calls? If so, what's the rough number of them? Have you sat in debrief meetings after the post-interview, post-panel interview? Those are the two major things, because that's where the details come out and why one candidate was selected and why another one wasn't. And that's where the gold is. The next major reason why I feel like a professional resume writer might actually be hurting your chances is because it encourages a lazy approach to your job search. And what I mean by that is there is a certain mentality of, I just want to outsource all that stuff. It's not fun to deal with. I don't want to think about it. I don't know how to write a resume. I don't feel comfortable with it. I just want to have somebody else do it so I can focus on my day-to-day job. And here's what I'll say to that. When you outsource your resume and kind of broader, I've had people actually ask me to do job search for them, like literally go out and apply for jobs for them, which I do not offer. But when you outsource this component of your job search, it's a massive part of your career that you're trying to outsource to somebody else. And I'll say this, your resume and your network are the two most valuable assets you have in your entire career. But if you think about it, your resume is probably the single most important document that affects your overall earning potential and therefore your financial health throughout the entirety of your career. And I would liken it to probably even your life, unless of course you get willed some sort of a trust from your long lost rich uncle, in which case that document's probably going to be more impactful. But let's face it, most people are not in that situation. So the resume is the most important document for us. It's going to directly impact how much money you earn over the course of careers. And I'm talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. And it is the document that will allow you to get your foot in the door with your dream company or not. You either get the job or you don't based on the resume, because that's the first impression that you make in most cases. So why you would want to outsource and kind of just avoid dealing with that is beyond me. I really encourage everybody that comes to me. In fact, I even have a disclaimer on my website when you go to order a resume that I encourage you to check out other resources first, because I don't think professional resume writing is for most people. Because when you take this approach, you're likely going to have less results over the course of your career, and especially a particularly difficult job search. It almost always boils down to this. If you're applying for job after job and assuming you're reasonably qualified for the roles that you're applying to, it's almost always a resume issue. And if you can't diagnose what the issue might be, it's going to put you at a huge disadvantage to all the other job seekers, especially in a really competitive market. So it absolutely pays to learn how to write your own resume, because that is going to directly impact your hireability, how quickly you can get back to work if you're unemployed, and what your overall compensation will be, not just for the next job, but across the entirety of your career. And again, that snowballs over and over as you move up in an organization or across organizations through a career. And as we look over a long job search, and as an extension of that, a long career, the number of resumes that you'll probably need to submit throughout the entirety of the time you enter into the workforce to the time you retire is probably at least in the hundreds, if not the thousands. And to hire a professional resume writer for each resume submission is just not economically possible. So you're going to inevitably be sending off generic resumes, which are, guess what? They're going to lower your results. So if you're interested in the best possible results, it behooves you to learn how to write your own resume. Now, it just so happens that I'm writing several resumes as we speak, and people who might be listening to that saying, what do you mean? Did I make a mistake? And I'll say, don't worry, there's a time and a place for when a professional resume writer might actually be to your benefit. And it's if you're completely lost on how to handle your resume and you want to get to equilibrium. You just want to get to the base level and you want a good starting point. Because once you get that good starting point, then you can customize your resume. Then you can use it to go use tools like ChatGPT to customize further. But you have to have a good starting point, because if you don't have a good starting point, it doesn't matter how much you customize it. It's like you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still going to be a pig. We have to clean it up. We have to make sure that it is ATS compliant and it is showing you in the best possible light. And not to mention, there are so many nuanced strategies depending on the challenges that you might be experiencing in your career. If you've hopped jobs, if you're changing careers, if you're entry level, etc. There's just a ton of nuances that you need to understand so that you can position yourself to solve for those problems. And obviously, a professional resume writer may be able to help with some of them, but in most cases, the ones that I've been seeing, they just are not solving for them. So what that means is if you hire a professional resume writer, it can get you up to the baseline, but you still want to learn how to customize your resume going forward, because again, you're going to need it for the rest of your job search. And more importantly, it's just a career skill you should acquire at some point. If you're somebody that's sitting there saying, gosh, I don't even know how to do that, where do I even start? I actually did create a course. It teaches you exactly how to do it. It's called Resume Rocketfuel. And I make it as easy as possible to follow so that you can walk through building your own resume step by step. And you can actually follow me as I make one myself. It includes templates and all that kind of stuff. I actually also teach you how to write and approach cover letters because there's some nuance there as well. And more importantly, I teach you how to customize it and how to use it as a strategic document, because that's going to be the biggest impact that you'll have on your inbound applications, meaning jobs that you're applying to. And if you want to learn how to skip that whole process and get more eyeballs on you, it's always better to have the recruiter find you, because the resume becomes less important. And that's where the networking piece comes in. And I actually also created a course called Unlocking LinkedIn. So if you're not sure how to do that, check that course out as well. If you're considering hiring a resume writer, it doesn't mean that it's wasted money, but just understand what you're getting into. Try to vet them properly and make sure that they've got the credentials that could truly help you. And more importantly, still want to learn how to write your own resume. And if you found value in this video, appreciate a thumbs up. That actually helps me get this out to a broader audience and allows me to continue bringing you this great content. So appreciate watching. We'll see you on the next one.